Jacob was an ordinary man living an ordinary life. At 32, he had a steady office job, a small apartment in the city, and a routine that rarely changed. Every morning, he commuted to work, spent hours at his desk crunching numbers, and returned home to eat dinner while scrolling through his phone. Though his life was stable, Jacob often felt as though something was missing, a spark, a sense of purpose. But he ignored these feelings, assuming this was just how life was meant to be. One Friday morning, as he prepared to leave for work, Jacob's phone buzzed with an unexpected call. It was his childhood friend, Daniel, whom he hadn't spoken to in years. Daniel sounded different. His voice carried an urgency that immediately caught Jacob's attention. "Jacob," he said, "I need you to come to the hospital. It's about Emily." Emily was Daniel's younger sister and Jacob's best friend growing up. The three of them had been inseparable during their childhood, spending summers exploring the woods behind their neighborhood and dreaming about the future. But as they grew older, life pulled them in different directions. Jacob hadn't seen Emily in over a decade. At the hospital, Jacob learned that Emily had been in a car accident. She was stable, but seriously injured. When he walked into her room, the sight of her lying there, pale and fragile, struck him deeply. Emily opened her eyes and smiled weakly. "Hey, stranger," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Long time no see." Over the next few weeks, Jacob visited Emily regularly. Despite her condition, she remained optimistic, cracking jokes and talking about her recovery plans. She shared stories about her work as a wildlife photographer, traveling to remote corners of the world to capture the beauty of nature. Her passion and zest for life were infectious, and Jacob couldn't help but feel inspired. One evening, Emily asked Jacob a simple yet profound question. "What makes you happy, Jacob? Truly happy?" He hesitated, unable to answer. Emily smiled knowingly. "You've always had a good heart, but you've been stuck in a life that doesn't let it shine. Maybe it's time to change that." Her words stayed with him. Over the following days, Jacob began to reflect on his life. He realized how disconnected he had become from the things that once brought him joy. His love for painting, his curiosity about the world, and his desire to make a difference. Emily's accident had been a wake-up call. Jacob decided to take a leap of faith. He quit his job and began volunteering at a local community center, teaching art classes to underprivileged kids. At first, the decision felt risky and uncertain, but as he immersed himself in the work, he discovered a fulfillment he had never felt before. Seeing the kids light up as they painted and expressed themselves brought him a deep sense of joy. Meanwhile, Emily's recovery progressed, and she encouraged Jacob to explore his newfound passion further. She even invited him to join her on a photography expedition once she was well enough to travel again. Jacob hesitated, doubting his ability to step into such an unfamiliar world. But Emily reminded him, the best moments in life come when you leave your comfort zone. Months later, Emily was well enough to travel, and Jacob found himself in a dense rainforest, carrying a camera for the first time. The experience was transformative. Surrounded by the vibrant colors and sounds of nature, Jacob felt more alive than ever. He realized that the world was filled with beauty and wonder, waiting to be discovered. That trip marked the beginning of a new chapter in Jacob's life. He combined his love for art and storytelling by documenting his travels and sharing them with others. His work gained attention, and he eventually turned his passion into a career, inspiring people to reconnect with their own dreams. Looking back, Jacob often thought about that day at the hospital, the day everything changed. Emily's accident had been a turning point, not just for her, but for him as well. She had reminded him of the importance of living a life that felt meaningful.